public reaction to exclusive titles coming to the Epic Games Store has been overwhelmingly negative. The stink created by Metro Exodus pulling from Steam has led to a noticeable backlash that is now affecting Gearbox's Borderlands series. It was recently announced that Borderlands 3 will be a 6-month EGS exclusive. Since that announcement, Borderlands 2 has received roughly 2,000 negative reviews, while the pre-sequel and original Borderlands have each received a few hundred negative reviews each. This practice, commonly known as review bombing, can be detrimental to developers and is an immoral act that damages games on false pretenses. Review bombers post negative reviews on Steam to be spiteful, even if they actually love a game's content. They aren't downvoting games because they're bad, they're downvoting games because they want the game to be on a particular launcher. It's no secret that I'm unhappy with the number of game launchers that we need to play our games. I even made a video about it. However, review bomb tactics infuriate me because it's a result of misplaced anger that can have very real effects on the gaming industry. If the average gamer ever wanted to have a voice and have their opinions mean something, then they shouldn't resort to these measures. The credibility of user reviews is diminished significantly because it's easy to see that the negative scores aren't born out of an informed opinion, just a petty audience who wants to get back at Epic. Here are some reviews, for example. And so, another game falls into the Epic Fail exclusive. When will you understand this isn't console, it's PC? I love your game, but... And then it's just a bunch of text that makes two hands shooting birds. Another one says, buy Borderlands 1 and all the DLC on Steam. Buy Borderlands 2 and all the DLC on Steam. All the players on Steam, keeping the Borderlands 2 player base alive for the last few years. What do we get? A big old EGS slap in the face. These are just a couple of examples, and I'll have others on screen that are representative of the type of stuff you'll see if you look at reviews for Borderlands 2 on Steam right now. It's quite childish, but unfortunately the effects can be very real. Valve is aware of these practices, and they recently stated that they're looking into the problem and how to deal with it. They have tried to counter this problem in the past with mixed results, so after listening to feedback, they've decided to hide off-topic review scores. The company says that it defines a review bomb as one where the focus of those reviews is on a topic that we consider unrelated to the likelihood that future purchasers will be happy if they buy the game. What they mean is, any negative review that is negative because of something other than the game itself, like people review bombing games that have been out for years because they're angry about Epic. In order to identify these types of reviews, Valve says that it's developed a tool to recognize specific periods of time when a review bombing happens, which then notifies employees that manually look into the case. Once the investigation is completed, a Valve employee will remove any reviews that take place after the initial time of the bombing started. They will also mark which reviews have been removed from the overall score of the game. The origins of this method lie in the system that Valve implemented a couple of years ago in response to the Firewatch bombing. They released information showing consumers when and how often there were spikes in negative reviews, to more easily tell if negative reviews were linked to a controversy or news coverage of the game that made people upset. The problem with this method is that it leaves the responsibility to decide if reviews are legit on the consumer themselves. It's a hands-off approach that is centered on reporting information rather than taking action to remove users who are reviewing products in bad faith. It isn't good enough. Another problem with Valve's system in the past is that some legitimate reviews are mistakenly taken down as well, meaning that people who are trying to give an honest opinion are being censored, because the system targets review bombing on a mass scale. Gearbox is fortunate that Borderlands is already a legendary series with a passionate fanbase, so a few bad eggs can't damage their product in the long run. But what if this happens to other games? What if Steam users start review bombing good games before they even play them? Borderlands 3 could suffer this fate, but only time will tell. To be clear here, I completely understand the backlash against Epic Games Store, especially in cases like Metro. But putting in bad reviews just because you're upset about a game launcher is ridiculous and not something I agree with. Steam reviews are one of the primary ways that indie titles make a name for themselves and get their products off the ground. What if a game like Dead Cells, which has recently been announced for a PC release, was review bombed into oblivion because the devs decide to put the game on EGS instead of Steam, which just so happens, by the way, to provide him with a larger cut of sales. We all know that Steam takes a very large slice of the pie when it sells games, so the odds of exclusives being on different stores are rapidly increasing. Public backlash against game launchers could very well mean that games are torn apart by angry reviewers before they even have a chance to be successful. Remember when Titan Souls was review bombed by Total Biscuit fans? Remember The Elder Scrolls V was review bombed in 2015 because customers were angry about the game's introduction of paid mods? NieR Automata was review bombed in April 2017 by Chinese players because they wanted the game to be translated to Chinese. Grand Theft Auto V was review bombed in June and July of 2017 after Take-Two issued a cease and desist against Open4. Crusader Kings 2 and other Paradox games were review bombed in the same month by customers angry that they had raised the prices in certain regions, so some of these complaints from consumers were justified. But review bombing is being resorted to more and more often in recent years, and it has the potential to spiral out of control. There are a few possible outcomes from this situation. First, Valve's system will continue to improve and more use of actual humans in the process will work. Second, user reviews will lose all respect from devs, publishers, and stores because it's a way for people to unfairly destroy a game's potential. Or, finally, review bombers could realize what they are doing is scummy and stop doing it. Hopefully the problem doesn't get out of hand, but the first step is awareness that this is actually an issue, which is the purpose of this video. So what do you think? Is review bombing okay? I know it's a part of consumer rights, but do you agree with it? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to share it with everyone you know. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.